Here we go. Good afternoon. My name is Royletta Romaine. I am the owner of Healing by the Forkful. I'm a registered dietitian and a licensed dietitian and certified LEAP therapist from Boston, Mass. LEAP stands for Lifestyle, Eating, and Performance. I help my clients reduce or stop symptoms of inflammation, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, and migraines with food, not medicine. You can find me on Instagram at Healing by the Forkful or by email at healingbytheforkfulrd@gmail.com. My mini podcast is short and to the point. A few times a month, I will bring you a new person who has been helped by what I call a personalized anti-inflammation blueprint. Please send me an email if you have questions or would like to be on the podcast. My hope is to reach and help as many people as we can. So, welcome to Healing by the Forkful. Let's get started. Just so you know, I call LEAP Individualized Inflammation Blueprint. And today we have a fellow dietitian, Edith Yang. I'm going to let her introduce herself, but she, again, is another dietitian who has gone through the LEAP protocol and continues to share it with people and her other part of her practice. So welcome, Edith. How are you?
Hi, Royletta. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I'm doing well today. Thank you so much.
Great. So happy to have you. So tell us a little bit, like I said, you do LEAP and you do something else. Just give us tell us a little bit about the other part of your practice and then why you decided to be a certified LEAP therapist.
Yeah, so I have a group practice, an insurance-based practice located in Southern California. And I decided to have a private practice just to be able to be more accessible and reach more people, which is another reason why I accept insurance. And then I decided to also be a group practice because I want to be able to have providers that are from different ethnic backgrounds just to reach more people. And then with LEAP, I got into this. So I specialize also in chronic disease. I'm board certified in renal nutrition, and LEAP kind of goes hand in hand with that. Chronic illnesses are often inflammatory, and so there's a lot going on. And then for LEAP itself, I decided to become a LEAP therapist too because I was experiencing symptoms myself, and with doctors just, prescribing medication.
Yes.
Just to kind of mask the issue or treat the symptom, but not the cause. So I wanted something that was a little bit more holistic and more for me versus just kind of the standard approach with medicine.
Absolutely. I was so worried about my stomach and my liver because I'm just like, hello, what's going on with all these medications that you're giving me? And I was so happy to find LEAP. So tell us, what were your symptoms and or diagnosis if you want to actually share the diagnosis?
Yeah, for sure. Like I love to share about this because I think mine, everyone's story is really unique in regards to doing LEAP. But for me, I had a rash on my face and it looked like ringworm. It was a ring shaped on my cheek. And then obviously the doctor just says, okay, it's ringworm because it presented like ringworm. Although it was very strange because I think ringworm you typically get in like gyms or like places where you're like kind of, a little bit more dirty, I guess.
I know, and you're not like rubbing your face on the floor.
Like I was, right? And so they kept prescribing me creams, but it would go away or get slightly better for a little bit, but then it would keep coming back. And then obviously then they would be like, okay, that cream doesn't work, then try another cream. And then it was just basically a series of switching different creams over multiple months. And I was getting really frustrated with that because I'm like, I don't think this is ringworm. Ringworm is also very contagious. And I have a family with very young children and they're constantly like touching me and no one was getting ringworm, thankfully. And then, so finally I came across LEAP and then wanted to become specialized in it. Did the whole program on myself just because I also want to make sure like this is something, legitimate and that's actually working.
Absolutely.
And it totally does because after that, it went away and it never came back. But it was like a constant, like probably almost a year where I was being treated by the doctors and like no relief from all the creams that they just insisted that.
No, and you can imagine just like avoiding certain foods is like a game changer. Like I can't even believe like all I had to do is stop eating this and I just feel amazing.
Right, exactly. It's so food is so powerful, like so powerful. So much it can do to heal so many different things.
Exactly, exactly. So, how long did you suffer with these? You said kind of a year was the like I guess them trying to treat the problem, but how long were you having the issues prior to going to try to get treatment?
I probably had it for like 3 months before I finally was like, okay, this is probably not normal. Like, I need to go see the doctor. So, yeah, I think maybe overall it was like close to a year, a little more than that, that I was dealing with the rash on my face. Luckily, it was also during COVID. I guess, I don't know if it was lucky, but during COVID where we're wearing masks. So at least like I was covered anyways. So no one could really see it. So I didn't feel as like embarrassed by it, but it was still, it was very prominent on my cheek.
Yeah, yeah, right. And how long before you saw the rash starting to disappear?
After starting LEAP,
Mm-hmm.
pretty soon, like within the first 4 to 6 weeks, I was starting to see it improve just in that little amount of time.
Oh, that's great. Great to hear because I've had some patients who it's taken a little bit longer, and they're like, "Oh, it's not working. It's not working," and then they start to get a little nervous and antsy about it. For myself, when I did it, I was feeling better in 5 days. Like I couldn't believe it. And I keep telling some people that I have that it can be anywhere from 5 days to 2 or 3 months, but you stuck with it, and so glad that you did.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was already noticing it was better, like slowly, but I think because of how long it had been, and I think that's another part of LEAP is like it depends really how long you have been experiencing the
Mm-hmm.
symptoms, right? Because if we think about the foods we're ingesting, it's like you're constantly exposing or putting your body through this inflammation, and like that builds up over time. And so some things may take longer. But like what you shared is that many of my patients, probably 2 to 4 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
but the first few days you do start to feel better.
Yeah.
But maybe 2 to 4 weeks for like it to kind of more go away more significantly, I would say.
Right, right. Because it's true. Because if you were eating, most of us tend to go to the same foods. So we've been eating the same food for months or years at a time, and then something just isn't clicking right. So you get this reaction or this problem, and so you can't really expect it to go away in 2 or 3 days. As you know, you go through different stages, and I actually just went bare bones. I was just like, I'm tired of this. I can't deal with it, which is probably another reason why I had such good success. But you really have to be into it and motivated to be able to just do the bare bones. So that
Mm-hmm.
will win it as well. So, tell me, how has Leap changed your life? We'll start with, I guess, you feeling better, and then we'll maybe how some of your patients have reported how it's changed their lives.
Yes, I'm so excited to share about this just because, like, as a dietitian, helping people feel good in their bodies is just like why I'm a dietitian. So I'm like super excited to share. For myself, obviously, like, I don't have the rash anymore. The foods that I was reactive to, one of them being soybean, and being someone from Asia, Chinese specifically, Taiwanese, like, it's in everything. I can still eat it though. I just can't eat it in large amounts. And I will say, interesting enough, like last week, for some reason, I was like, oh, I think I'm fine. Like I could just go crazy. Like I went because I really like being plant based, and like I wanted like tofu, edamame. I love to incorporate that. Well, I went a little crazy last week, and then I didn't get the rash again, but I did get a little bit of eczema on my hand, and I was like, okay, can't go crazy, but I can still integrate it in like small amounts that I have been over the past few years. So for me, it's like my skin, uh,
Mhm.
much more clear, not having those rashes. And then I did also, I didn't mention it earlier, but a little bit of some bowel like inconsistency, so constipation too. So I know that with when I started to eat the foods that don't cause so much inflammation, I'm more regular, and that's always a pleasant thing to experience.
That's so key because so many people are like, well, what's wrong? What's wrong with me? I don't know. I'm going to go gluten free, and then I'm going to go plant based. But if you're eating the wrong foods, you're eating the wrong foods. You need to figure out what it is, because you could go plant-based and you're doing it for months, but you're still having issues. Like one of my key foods was soybean corn and kale, and I was eating kale multiple, like lunch and dinner some
Right.
days, because it's the superfood, you know.
Yeah.
That's really key about why this is so helpful, and it's not just randomly getting rid of random foods and then you still don't know what's going on. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. So again, such a powerful like thing. And then for patients, I have so many wonderful stories. So I had she was in her 20s and she had really bad diarrhea, loose stool. And it got so bad to the point where one day she had to pull over on the side of the road and she had to go. Like she just couldn't even wait. And this is a young person in their 20s and like to already be experiencing this. So she found me, we did LEAP. And I will say that for her, the first 2 weeks was really tough. She actually wanted to give up. She was like, I can't do this. She was kind of like upset with me. And then I was like, just wait a few more days. Just get through the first 2 weeks. We will add more foods to your diet. You will feel better. And then she got through the first 2 weeks. We added more foods. It was more manageable. And then now she doesn't have any uncontrollable loose stool.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So amazing.
And then another story that I really like to share too is this one lady, probably, I think she was in her 40s to 50s when she started with me. She came in to meet me very guarded and upset and aggressive because she had been to multiple doctors who were like, just take this medication. And then they would say like, there's nothing wrong with you, but just take this GI medication and like, you're fine, or kind of telling her like, you're making this up in a way. So when she came to me, of course, she's gone through all these healthcare providers and, you know, everyone's telling her like, she's kind of crazy or like, you know, it's made up in her head. Wow. And so I let her know, like, I hear you and I believe you. And I know that you know your body best. We went through LEAP. So she was experiencing a lot of like bloating, discomfort, and then constipation, which would then also turn into diarrhea at times. Mm-hmm. We went through LEAP. And then in the end, she's good. She has no problem. She doesn't need any medication.
That is so wonderful. And I think what makes you and I different is that we've actually had problems. We've gone through the protocol. So we can really empathize with our patients. Like, I know, hang tight, we can do this. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. Awesome stories. I love it. I love a happy ending. And it's something that you can control. And again, you don't have to worry about your stomach or your liver. It also helps with brain fog. And if you're taking other medications, your brain was probably like, I can't deal with this anymore, which makes you more frustrated. So it's just amazing that we can do so many powerful things with food.
Yeah.
You'd like to share?
Yeah, and then one more. Sorry, there's just so many. I'm just like, oh my gosh, they all feel better. I had another person who had migraines every single day. We went through LEAP, and we did a little bit of a modified version because this program is a little bit intensive, and sometimes not everyone can integrate it like exactly how it is recommended. So we did a little bit of a modified version, but in the end, she was only having a migraine like once a month, if even that. So she went from like every day, and basically again with migraines, you kind of just, you take this medication and then that's like the rest of your life. But she was able to, you know, not have to do that and then just feel better. And then just by following the LEAP protocol, she was feeling better. So
that's beautiful, because you also get into that whole like presenteeism, like you've got brain fog, you've got a headache, you don't feel good, but it's like you have to go to work, because if you don't go to work, you're not going to keep your job, and it just cycles.
Yeah.
So then you go to work, I'm here, but I'm not here. So amazing to be able to feel so much better and to be able to thrive at your job because you are not in any pain and you're thinking clearly. So that's amazing. Totally amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think we've kind of talked about it, but how do you think your life has changed since starting LEAP?
I just feel more empowered and able to make good choices about food, and like seeing just how food affects my body, right? Like, especially in our country, I think the United States, like we just have so much processing methods and manufacturing, and then like they change like food or they add so many things to it. So now I'm just more empowered. I have more knowledge to be able to make better choices. And I know like food, right? We break it down, metabolize it, absorb it, right? So it's obviously feeding our cells, and so it affects our day to day. So with doing Leap for myself, I just feel like I can be my very best for my patients, for myself, for my family, for my friends. And then for patients, like I'm able to like help them find the best way to nourish their bodies and feel good without making it like something that adds an additional stressor in their life, because we've all already have like a million things going on, and I want food to be something that's easy to integrate and fuel their bodies.
Absolutely. Just want to bring up one thing with what you said is we're talking about how so many foods are processed and things like that, and I think it's important for us to remember to share with our patients that um, they're always evolving, changing recipes to make things last longer, to make them less expensive, or what have you. So
Mhm.
it's important that we do read the labels and we get used to it. But I usually try to look at my food labels like once a month, just because I don't know what they're doing to try to make this product more shelf stable, or to make it less expensive, or what have you, like when you're dealing with cereals or you're dealing with crackers, those kinds of things. So um, the usual, eat the perimeter, around the perimeter of the store, all the natural foods, but sometimes you just need a cracker. So
Right.
able to find foods that you enjoy, that you can have, that are safe, and we like to
Mhm.
focus on foods that you can have, not what you can't have. So yeah.
Yes, that I'm totally like that is exactly how I will approach it. Like what can you eat, not what can't you have. And then yeah, reading labels, that's something that I go over to with patients, and yeah, letting them know like just because we said it's okay today does not mean that it's always okay. So you need to be empowered yourself to be able to like read the label and decipher. And if you're not sure, bring it to me, bring it to our sessions. Let's look at it, let's talk about it, and let's learn about it together.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I'm very excited to share this with the public, because they need to know that we can make a difference with food, and it can be life changing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun to chat with you.
Have a great afternoon.
You too.